Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the new Fantastic Four movie. I just got out of the theater. I'm here to share my thoughts. I have a lot of them. Interesting movie. Let's get into it. First things first, the MCU. This is like the first time in a while we've really gone to a past, but we're in an alternate universe, an alternate like super techie kind of 60s New York. I really love the vibe of this movie, at least the design part of it. Beautiful set pieces, beautiful music, beautiful landscapes, just beautiful world, beautiful vision of New York City in this alternate 60s, like high tech, but you know, kind of keeping the coolness and the swag of the 60s, and that transfers over to the Fantastic Four themselves. Although they don't necessarily feel very 60s, maybe Ben does, but everybody else seems to be from like a different time, which they kind of seem like aliens in their own world, and that it's pretty interesting, but we'll get into that in a little bit. In terms of plot, I'm not going to go over it too much, but essentially the Fantastic Four, you know, this is a while after they get their powers, a couple years after they get their powers, and they're basically, you know, Earth's greatest heroes at this point. They're saving New York, they're beating all these baddies, they have a cartoon, they have merchandise, they have cereal they're basically, everybody loves them, and then there's a lady with them, and then there comes a massive threat of Galactus brought in by Silver Surfer, and that's where things start to get really hairy. Also, Sue's pregnant. So let's talk about the cast a little bit. I was unsure about Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. I feel like we've been getting a lot of Pedro Pascal. I don't think anybody would disagree with that, but I was pleasantly surprised. And I don't dislike Pedro Pascal. I really love Pedro Pascal. I just saw him in Eddington last week as well. I think he knocked it out of the park. Again, we haven't seen too many like really deep, like fully thought out, fleshed out versions of Reed Richards in live action. This was great. Pedro did a fantastic job. We got the feeling that this Reed Richards had a lot of weight on his shoulders, a lot of darkness in him, just because of the hyper intelligence. It is almost a burden more than a gift. He's able to save people and obviously, you know, bring technology, all this kind of innovative technology to the world, but it costs, you know, at the cost of his own mental health. And we see that play out a lot through this movie, especially through his relationship with Sue, played by Vanessa Kirby, who their moments are really pretty heavy. Like, they're for a married couple about to have a kid. They get into some pretty serious stuff, especially with the mental health stuff from Reed and how he feels burdened and how his brain does terrible things to, you know, get to positive results ultimately, but he has to go through so much darkness and dark thinking to get to that. And I think they did that really well. I got the feeling that they, you know, really love each other, and they've been married for a while, and they've been through a lot together. I really got that. Vanessa Kirby really brings the heat of Sue Storm. Again, no knock on Jessica Alba, but this feels like more of the quintessential Sue Storm. I really loved Vanessa Kirby. I honestly am not too familiar with her, but she was incredible. And Joseph Quinn, like, knocks it out of the park as Johnny Storm. He's not just kind of a one-note character. Chris Evans obviously played him in the previous, or the second previous iteration, the original iteration from the early 2000s. I'm not going to count the one from like the 80s. But this Johnny Storm actually has stuff going on. He's a little bit smarter. Again, less one note. He's very cunning. He's very sharp. You play him for a lot of jokes, but he kind of proves it in the movie that he's more than just, you know, flame on. And then we had Ebon Moss-Bachrach, who I already love from various TV shows. Obviously, most recently The Bear, but he does a fantastic job as Ben Grimm. You also feel the weight of this kind of situation with him. He does a beautiful job. I wish we had more with him, but I think we'll get more in the future. Obviously, there's a cartooniness to Ben Grimm, you know, Thing. I don't know if they call him the Thing? I can't remember. But the chemistry with a bunch of them is superb. It feels like a family. It feels a world that's very lived in. We kind of get into it, and that's what I like about it. But they don't waste any time with these characters. They have interesting conversations right away. And that's the whole thing with the Fantastic Four. It's like their dynamic and how the dynamic affects the world and how they deal with situations rather than how those situations kind of deal with them. And they kind of go through that idea in the film, which is beautiful. This was directed by Matt Shakman, who worked on WandaVision, which is probably one of my favorite Marvel projects ever. Honestly, I absolutely adored WandaVision. I wish they could do that again, but I know it's kind of like a flash in a bottle, lightning in a pan kind of thing. It was so beautiful and perfect for when it came out, and it was just so beautifully made. And I'm so glad he got to work on the Fantastic Four, because he's really good with these family dynamics, these like really tough family dynamics, but he knows how to bring the heart into it too, and he knows how to he knows how to navigate these characters that are struggling with these very real things in a family kind of setting. The movie is very, very sci-fi too, which is great because Fantastic Four have to lean super into the sci-fi, and there's plenty of that. There's plenty of space related stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff with Silver Surfer. Julia Garner does a fantastic job with that. It's almost like her performance kind of sits with you. It's I herald your end. I herald Galactus. That line delivery is just, I don't know. There's something that sticks in your brain with that one, and she's fantastic. And when you actually get to see Galactus, the way they set that up was really fantastic. The visuals look great, especially the kind of going through space, going through like hyperspace, essentially their own version of hyperspace. It's similar to what they did in Endgame. There's like similar motifs, but they kind of took their own spin on it, and it feels very, very kind of 60s sci-fi with like the modern flair, which is what I absolutely love. It feels almost more like vintage Doctor Who than current Doctor Who in a lot of ways. I think they did a fantastic job with kind of the sci-fi aspects of it all. And Michael Giacchino's score, something with Matt Shakman, he just knows how to get the emotion out of the score. And Michael Giacchino knows how to do that. He's been doing that, especially with Disney, for a while now. He does a fantastic job. That Fantastic Four. I feel like Marvel hasn't had a ton of really bringing your heart out of your chest kind of scores. And I already started to feel that with the new Fantastic Four score. And I hope that's a motif that we get going forward, because it's very building you up. And I'm even getting goosebumps because it's so good. I thought it was going to be cheesy, but it feels very unique to them. And we need these heroes to have their own motif. So when they're getting ready to come, Spider-Man has it, X-Men even. That they're kind of using the X-Men animated series motif a little bit here and there in the Marvel universe. They've been throwing it in, and it's beautiful because it works. And they did that with the new Superman, when using a lot of the motifs from the John Williams Superman stuff, and it works. It does something. It just is so synonymous with those characters. And I feel like this motif or this theme that Giacchino came up with is just going to become the Fantastic Four theme. And I love it. Ultimately, I thought this film was great. What they did with Galactus was pretty interesting, and kind of what it sets up. The stakes felt like they were there, and they kind of moved things this movie moved very quickly. I was actually shocked when we were kind of towards the end already. I think they do a fantastic job. They do a great job of establishing this is a very lived-in world. There's a lot that has already happened with them as the Fantastic Four. And it's beautiful. The kind of the themes of legacy, family, the cost of it all, the burden of these great powers. Obviously, with great powers comes great responsibility. It's incredible. I wish we got more Ben, but Reed and Sue, holy cow! Joseph Quinn blew me away. Actually, this is probably I think it's going to be one of my favorite Marvel MCU movies, honestly. Not hyperbole. I probably will have to watch it again, but I felt something watching this that I haven't really felt in a long time watching an MCU movie. I haven't gotten that heart feeling in a long time, and I want to feel that kind of optimism and hope and strength in my superhero movies. And I got that in the recent Superman, but I wasn't sure what to feel about Fantastic Four. I wasn't really too super excited about Fantastic Four because I've been disappointed with other iterations, but this feels different, guys. I'm not Not, this feels different. This feels good. Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, Ebon Moss-Bachrach. So good. So, final thoughts. I think this movie obviously was fantastic. And not putting that lightly, it actually was fantastic. Not hyperbolic. I think you should see it. I think this is probably, again, in my opinion, one of the best MCU movies in a long time. If not, it's probably up there in the top 10, maybe even top 5 for me. I mean, I've had a hard time with a lot of MCU movies, but this feels good. Like, I came out and I'm like, yeah, all right, this is the Fantastic Four. This is the Fantastic Four we've been waiting a very long time for. This is the Fantastic Four that is going to make the Fantastic Four cool, if you know what I mean. The comics, Fantastic Four comics, have had a rough go of it. Obviously, the movies have had a rough go of it. This iteration, when we'll see how they do in Doomsday, this iteration is going to be what makes the Fantastic Four cool. You know what I mean? It has the heart, it has the hope, it has the strength, it has kind of the darkness, and it has the badassery too. I'm kind of blown away with how much I like this movie, honestly, genuinely. But I'm going to leave you guys there. Let me know what you thought of the Fantastic Four movie. If you saw it, if you're going to see it, let me know your thoughts. Are you as taken with it as I am? Do you think, not so much? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. We got to talk about this, guys. This is amazing. See you later.